Recently, I was approached with a question. Here it is. Why do some conservative Christian parents react strongly when their kids consider wearing jewelry or body piercings? That's a good question. And the young person might say, I don't think it's wrong. I feel like they're overreacting. And I want to do my thing. Can you help me? My conscience is clear. I don't think it is wrong. The my conscience is clear reminds me of Paul's statement in 1 Corinthians 4:4. He said, my conscience is clear, but that does not make me innocent. It is the Lord who judges me. A clear conscience does not make me innocent. It is the Lord who judges me. I want to know what God wants. I want to know what He thinks is best. Whether it's a major indicator or a minor indicator, the heavenly judge wants to know if we are loyal or a rebel. Let me ask you a question. Just hold on just a minute and let me ask you a question. Okay, so here you see a picture. Tell me when you see the Mississippi River. Maybe you like this picture better. Now do you see the Mississippi River or this picture? Actually, all four of these pictures are the Mississippi River. The two on the right are at the very beginning, when you could easily step through or even jump across. By the time you get to the other end of the Mississippi, there's no question where you are. I mean, it can't be argued. But if you're sensitive to information, you can realize that the pictures on the right are also the Mississippi River. Please understand, I don't have a pony in this race. I'm not quite as old as dirt, but I'm working on it. What is the will of God? What is His message to me? Not what does anybody else think, even some old guy who's retired. Establishing independence from our parents is a part of growing into adulthood. Keep in mind, good parents are hard to come by, and they will be there for us through thick and thin. Don't forget to show honor and respect to them, if for no other reason than the fifth commandment. Having said that, what does the Bible have to say about the question of jewelry or adornment or ear piercings? Exodus chapter 32, verse 2, And Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. Verse 3, And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. Verse 4, And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graven tool, after he had made it a molten calf, and they said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. Some are inclined to use these verses to indicate that God's people regularly wore earrings. What's the position in time? What's the context? This was at Sinai. God had just spoken the 10 Commandments, written them on tables of stone, and given them to Moses. Actually, I would not use this passage to indicate God was good with what the people were doing, because actually, they were a people in rebellion. Is there any indication how God viewed their actions? Exodus 32:7. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go, get thee down, for thy people, which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. In a matter of a few short days, since they heard God himself speak directly to them, the people have rejected God as their sovereign leader. Their deliverance from Egypt has been attributed to the golden calf. God tells Moses his judgment. Exodus 33:3. On to a land flowing with milk and honey. That's where God was taking them. For I will not go up in the midst of thee, for thou art a stiff-necked people, lest I consume thee in the way. God had great plans for the people, but he said, I will not go up in the midst of thee, for you are a stiff-necked people. A stiff-necked people, a pain in the neck, a rebellious people. You're not willing to listen to me or follow me. And when the people heard these evil tidings, they mourned, and no man did put on him his ornaments. What is that? And when the people heard these evil tidings, they mourned, and no man did put on him his ornaments. For the Lord had said unto Moses, Say unto the children of Israel, Ye are a stiff-necked people. I will come up into the midst of thee in a moment and consume thee. Therefore now, this is God speaking, therefore now put off thy ornaments from thee, that I may know what to do unto thee. In some way, the wearing of ornaments was a symbol of something significant. And God instructed them to remove their ornaments so he would know what to do with them. Somehow the removing of their ornaments was a method of showing God that they are on his side. And the children of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments by the Mount Horeb. So that's what happened there. God was not condoning the wearing of these ornaments. They had just come out of Egypt, where they had been slaves, and God had to teach them all over again. That's why God came to meet with them on Mount Sinai. Is this the first time we hear about this? No, actually not. Go with me back to Genesis chapter 35. Then God said to Jacob, Go up to Bethel and settle there, and build an altar there to God, who appeared to you when you were fleeing from your brother Esau. Go up to Bethel, settle there, build an altar there to God. Go make Bethel your home and build an altar there to God. Prepare to worship God. The next verse. So Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, get rid of the foreign gods you have with you. These are foreign gods. And purify yourself and change your clothes. So Jacob and his family were not living according to God's will. And Jacob said, we need to get things right. We're going to go worship God. What did he say? Get rid of the foreign gods you have with you. Purify yourselves and change your clothes. Not a lot of explanation here. The next verse. Then come. Do those things. Then come. Let us go up to Bethel, where I will build an altar to God, who answered me in the day of my distress, and who has been with me wherever I have gone. So they gave Jacob all the foreign gods they had, and the rings in their ears, and Jacob buried them under the oak at Shechem. They gave Jacob all the foreign gods and the rings in their ears. Jacob buried them under the oak at Shechem. What had God told Jacob, and what had Jacob told them? Get rid of the foreign gods you have with you, purify yourselves, and change your garments. It says Jacob buried them. Them is plural. All the foreign gods and the rings in their ears. Buried them under the oak at Shechem. 2 stories and 1 illustration. Do I have to have things in black and white? No, it's not good for you to do this or that. No, I don't want you to do this or that. Some things we might learn by inference, by example, through the stories of Scriptures. I have not given you a list of texts that talks about not wearing adorning and all of those things. I don't think it's wrong, is where we started. My conscience is clear, but that does not make me innocent. It is the Lord who judges me. I want to tell you, what we've just talked about is not for everyone. Not everyone is inclined to listen to everything. God even whispers. I can ignore these 2 passages and say, well, it didn't say I couldn't. Or if I'm listening to hear the slightest whisper, I might have to admit that there is something going on here. How close do I want to get before I take a position? Do I need to get all the way into the mighty end of the mighty Mississippi before I acknowledge it's a problem? It's a big river. My friend, I want to invite you to kneel down. Yes, get down on your knees, humble yourself before God, and ask God what you should do. I want to assure you that God will love you regardless of your choice. Will you listen to hear His slightest whisper? I hope this is helpful to you if you're walking that closely to God. If you are more concerned about what God thinks than what other people think. And if you're inclined to follow the ways of others, ask yourself, why does it matter? Why does it matter to me? Get down on your knees now and talk to God. And I'll be praying for you too.